Hello, psychologists. I am recording this to show you what to do this week. This will be the last week of the quarter, the last week of the semester. So what you need to do is first go to materials and go to quarter two. This will be our last quarter two thing. We have two things, all right? We're finishing up intelligence and we have the final. So let me start with intelligence real quick. The first week of intelligence, remember, waiting for it to load, there we go. The first week of intelligence, we talked about IQ, and we talked about the multiple intelligences test reflection. We talked about fixed mindset versus growth mindset, that sort of thing. And this week, we're going to talk a little bit about intellectual disability. So you can see that there are a couple of videos I put in here. And I don't know, this one's not really. Hold on, let me try refreshing. It's not really loading here, but trust me, there's a video here too about being more. There we go. It's looking better. Be patient. It's coming. It's happening. There we go. So there's two videos here, right? One is about like a general definition of what it is, and one is about actual students with intellectual disabilities talking about what it's like to have it, right? And so we have two things to do for this week. One is to click into this discussion, and really it's asking for your advice, right? If you, excuse me, I'm kind of having a cold. If you were giving advice to parents of kids with intellectual disabilities, what would you say to them, right? We already have some people posting in here. That's great to see. Jasmine and Daniel and Javier, giving their opinions. So make sure you respond to theirs, and make sure that you also post your own, right? That's what gives you proficiency. So I'm kind of curious as to what you think. What advice would you give to parents? Like if you were the psychologist involved with the parents, and you're meeting with the parents, what would you say to them? And the last assignment for the quarter is, what would you say if you were in charge of, a college or a trade school like Pickens? What would be your policy about students with intellectual disability? Like, how would you admit them? What would you say to their parents? How would you choose? Because they're probably not going to have as good a test scores as other students, So, like, what would be your procedure for, admitting them or not admitting them? What would you say to them? Those kinds of ideas. Pretty easy for this week. Now, oops, I should have got one more out. There's not a lot of assignments this week because we have a final. So if you watch the webinar, what the webinar is all about is studying for the final. So I kind of, went over with the people who showed up today, kind of what they wanted to see in terms of, what I should review. There's a couple things in here, right? There are study guides, and this is the final. So important points to remember about the final. I'm clicking in here as a teacher view, right? I want you to take a look at my settings page here, right? Here are the instructions, right? You want to be thorough. You want to use your notes. See, this is open notes, open book, whatever you want to call it, kind of test. There's a time limit of 90 minutes. So that means, you're going to have a hard time if you try and go and Google every answer, right? So you want to have all your notes set in front of you, right, before you sit down and take the test. Then you want to have your notes, take the test, use your notes, answer all the questions, and then make sure that you've gone all the way through. Make sure you've answered all questions, and then you hit save. Okay. If you have a technical difficulty or problem, or your computer shuts down, or your power goes out, then you need to call or text or email me, assuming your computer still works. If it's not a computer problem. Okay. So call me or email me or something, and then we'll work something out. Okay. I think that's all there is for this week. Remember, though, that the 19th, that's next Thursday, that's the last day to turn anything in. So you can see that this closes, right? The 19th at midnight. Okay? I should probably put the 20th at midnight, shouldn't I? Put the 20th at midnight. Okay? So make sure that you have done all the assignments that you feel comfortable turning in, that you've redone anything that you want to redo, that you've turned in all the summative assessments, most importantly, okay, like this big test right here. So if you have any questions, about how to do something or about what your grade is, you just have to let me know and I will tell you. All right. So take a look at the videos this week. Take a look at the webinar to study for a little bit, right? Then grab all your notes and do the big test. Okay. All right, guys. Have a great week, and I'll probably see you next week. But if I don't, have a nice winter break, and I will see you around the class.